What's up, everybody, and welcome back to CK Café.
Cafe.
Yeah. This is Ethan Felizari Castillo. I am here with
Rowboat, aka Rosie Dean, aka the one and only Robot in the house. Actually, outside the house, technically.
Yeah, we are. We're filming in the backyard because it's just such a beautiful day, and it's so beautiful because it's summer, and summer means getting outside and going having fun and meeting people, including our guests that we're gonna have later on today. From Her Voice. It's a beautiful new screening series that highlights women composers. We have Katherine, Miu, Carlotta on. And Rosie had a really interesting conversation with them. What do you remember about that conversation?
Oh, we was kikiing. We was getting to know each other, talking about how we found our love for music, but also talking about what it is to be a composer and the role that women play in film and how we're looking to expand that and create a better community and more opportunities for women in pre-production and post-production.
I got to listen in on the conversation. I think it's really amazing. So definitely stick around and listen to the entire thing. It's really, really beautiful. And it's highlighting their event, Her Voice, which is happening on June 10th, which if you're listening to it before June 10th, 2025, you can still come. You can still get some tickets. It's going to be in New York City, Anthology Film Archive. So please, please, please come check it out. It's going to be really cool.
There's going to be a
It's gonna be
step and
super dope.
repeat. There's going to be some networking opportunities, and there's going to be some amazing films,
It's going
all
to be really good.
composed by incredibly talented female composers. So
Yeah,
you don't want to
come,
miss it.
You got to come check it out. But anyways, before we started the episode, we wanted to come on here and just kind of chat because CK Cafe is back. It's been over a year since we last posted or since we last, had any sort of conversations with other creatives in the film world. In that year, we've been doing quite a lot at CK. Rosie as creative director and producer, but also actress and amazing other things that you do. And we've been really focused on a few projects, Backyard Desert being one of them, which if you follow CK, you definitely have seen a little bit about Backyard Desert. It's our debut feature film. Beautiful rendition of the score by Katherine. That's amazing.
Thank you.
But Backyard Desert, we're working on it right now. We're actively trying to get it shot. Initially we had hoped to be shooting in the spring. But it's independent film. Things change, and
It'd be like that sometimes, but you
It
know
really
what?
do.
We kept going, and it's going to be better for it.
I think
it's
so.
sort of getting a little bigger than we initially thought it would be.
Yeah, it's
exciting.
It's so exciting. And then we also have some other films that we just recently announced, like Becoming Her, which is an amazing biopic about Marilyn Monroe, which Rosie and I are both geeking out over. Rosie had found Jessica Ville, aka Jay Bunzy, on social media. She found her online. I know we have the birds in the background.
Birds are big Marilyn Monroe
They're big Marilyn Monroe fans and big Jay Bunzy
excited
fans.
for the biopic.
But Rosie had found this beautiful idea of a script. She hadn't read it, obviously, through social media, right?
Yeah. I found a video of Jessica basically talking about the project and how she wants to find the right people to help her make it. So I reached out, literally not expecting her to, be interested, because I was certain she was getting like so many messages from so many production companies that would, think that they could do something really special with it. But we hopped on a call, and
We just
right
aligned.
off the bat, we're on the same wavelength.
We were.
And now she's become a really great friend and collaborator, and we are, what's the right word? Hitting the ground running.
Yeah, we
with,
really are.
Development for that project.
Yeah,
so.
we're heading into hopefully pre-production on that project soon. But it's a much bigger project. It's not just budget-wise, but just scale. Everything is huge. So it's our biggest project yet, but we're so pumped about it. And we have a bunch of other films that we haven't really announced yet, so we can't really say much about. But more amazing projects that we're so excited to share with you. Features, more shorts, music videos, of course, and so many other things coming from CK Films and all of CK's other branches, CK Theatricals, CK Records. Got a lot of new music from CK Films related projects coming out via CK Records. So it's a lot of great stuff. So thank you so much for tuning in. CK Cafe will be coming at you every week once again. And make sure you come out to Her Voice and enjoy this amazing conversation.
Hello and welcome. We are here with the wonderful women of Her Voice, some incredible musicians and composers, and we are going to have the chat of all chats today about all things Her Voice, music, film, and being a vibe. So, without further ado, we'll do some little intros.
Hey, I'm Carlotta. I'm one of the co-hosts of Her Voice. I'm really happy to be here and talk all about Her Voice and film and music and what the event is going to be about.
I'm Katherine. I'm another co-founder of Her Voice. I'm a composer and really grateful to be here with CK. They've been an amazing sponsor for us. So yeah, grateful.
I'm Miu, also the other co-founder of Her Voice and composer for film and theater, and I'm excited to be here and jump right into it.
Oh yeah. Now you may be thinking at home, Her Voice, what? What is this? I would like to hand it off perhaps to Katherine to give us a little rundown of everything Her Voice and what we're doing here.
Yeah, so Her Voice was founded by me, Carlotta, and Miu a couple of months ago, which is crazy that our screening is happening so soon. But we just had this idea after we went to a screening of an all-women director event, and we thought it was so cool how they showcased all these films done by women that had awesome women cast and crew. So we were very inspired, and we decided to put together our own screening. So we planned everything ourselves. We created a submission form for women composers to submit scores that they've composed from various filmmakers, and we put together a lineup of 8 amazing films that we're going to be screening on June 10th at a venue called the Anthology Film Archives. And we're really excited because it's just going to be a chance for us to celebrate the work of women composers. There's just not a lot of women composers that get recognition in mainstream media, and we really want to change that. And our goal is just to highlight these women and celebrate all their accomplishments.
Wow, that's amazing. What a special event. I cannot wait. I'm going to be there. All these wonderful people are going to be there. We're going to have the best time. Amazing. So,
Gonna be the best time.
I can't wait. We're all, well, I'm not, but you all 3 are composers for film, yes?
Yeah.
That is so amazing. Would you mind, each of you, just sort of telling us the story of how you realized you loved music and loved making it and sort of what led you down this path? Miu, do you want to start?
Sure. I think for me, I always knew music was an important part of my life. I started playing piano since I was 3. Kind of one of those things where your parents throw you and they're like, hey, do it. We don't know if it's going to stick with you. For a while, honestly, I didn't think it was, going to be a career or something I would go through with, just because, and not anyone in my family was really against it or anything. I have a really supportive family, which I'm really grateful for. Nobody's in the arts, so I was kind of that one person that was I don't know if I really want to take this forward. But fast forward, in high school, I feel I collaborated in a lot of ensembles outside of, I grew up doing classical piano, and then that kind of went into joining my school, jazz bands, pit bands. That was my intro into theater and all that stuff, and getting to meet people and create music and be part of something that's more than just yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's the best thing about, I feel art is when you're with other people and you kind of connect. So that was kind of my intro into knowing that this world was something for me. And then when college applications were coming around, I was applying for business schools because everybody in my family is part of that world. And then my dad was like, hey, I'd much rather invest in something that you are genuinely passionate about. I'm pretty sure business is not the one. Do you want to rethink your choice? And then that kind of led to everything that I'm experiencing right now of knowing that composing and working in art and music is for me, and meeting all these wonderful people that we have here with us. So that was kind of my trajectory.
Wow, it's amazing. Thank you for sharing. Wow. How many instruments do you play?
Primarily just one. I feel similar to so many people, it's I had a phase where I learned guitar. I also learned violin, but it's not something I would say hey guys, I play it, unless someone's super desperate and we need a backup plan Zed. You know what I mean? And also a little bit of ukulele. I have a ukulele there. She's crusty, collecting that little dust. She's cute. But yes, I always just say like piano, and that's how it
That's
goes. But
cool.
yeah.
Awesome. How about you, Carlotta?
I started when I was only like 5 with the violin. I'm from Italy, so I started in that world, classical world, and I then moved across the ocean to Abu Dhabi, and I discovered singing, and I got into that world. And now I just like really enjoy singing. When I was like 13, I learned the piano, and that's how I got into composing. I would just spend my days like coming up with melodies and stuff on the piano, and that's how I got into like film scoring in the first place. Yeah, and so I then moved to the US. I got into master in film scoring at NYU, and that really opened a lot of doors and really gave me the opportunities to be doing what I'm doing, which is what I'm passionate about. Yeah, that's how I'm here with these wonderful people, and we're excited to be hosting this screening together and giving the chance to female composers to really like shine, because I feel like we don't always have that platform, and we want to create that for women to be heard and for their films to be screened. And that's what we're passionate about. So that's what we're doing.
Nice. That's so wonderful. Oh my gosh. You went to NYU. Did we all go to NYU?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
That's how we met.
Represent.
That's how we met.
That's how you met. Wait, how did you all
Ooh,
meet?
Violet Pride.
What's the story of how you met?
How did we
Wait.
meet?
Wait, I remember meeting
Oh.
Carlotta. I remember I met. Okay, wait. I'm gonna tell the story of how I met.
Oh yeah, I remember
Carlotta.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So basically, I did the same program, the master's in screen scoring at NYU, but I came a semester later than everyone. I started in the winter in January. A lot of people started in the fall. I was really nervous, and I emailed one of the professors, and I was like, "Hey, is there anyone that you think I would get along with that I could reach out to?" And one of those people was Carlotta, and he gave me Carlotta's email. I emailed Carlotta, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Catherine, blah, 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 I'm coming. Would love to get to know you, get coffee." And then we ended up getting coffee like somewhere in Times Square, and I just had a really good feeling. I was like, I know we're gonna be really good friends. And and the rest is
Wait,
history.
I didn't know that.
Oh my
That's so cute.
gosh.
I love it.
Thank
That's
you,
how
Mark.
we met.
Yeah.
Mark
Yeah.
Swazo.
Thank you, Mark
Oh,
Swazo.
Our
Yeah.
professor.
Mark. Oh my
Shout out,
god.
Mark. That's amazing.
Love
He's so
him.
great.
Oh my god. I love that. It's so funny
Yeah.
because I think I've met both of you guys through a mutual friend, actually.
Yeah.
And then
So who?
Nozomi. It was
Nozomi.
Nozomi.
Oh.
Another one of our great friends. She's also a film composer in the master's program. But Nozomi, like, we connected because I'm Japanese and she's like half Chinese, half Japanese, and we were like, oh my god, it's so rare to meet like, I guess, Japanese people in this field, especially within NYU. Like, it's rare to come across international students in general. So I was like, oh my god, no way, like, you exist, I exist, let's be besties. And then I'm an undergrad. I just finished my senior year, going into my master's though, so I'm catching on that train. I'm really excited. Yeah, I hadn't met like a lot of the grad students, and there was this one workshop that it was like a cross collaboration between like our school Steinhardt and Tisch, and it was kind of like a chance for film composers to connect with directors there. And that's where I met her, and then she was friends with both of y'all, and then we just kind of like from there was like a natural like progression of things. And then I was like, oh my god, these girlies are so talented, they're wonderful, I know we're gonna go a long way together. So like that's how we kind of came together, I think.
Wow. Catherine, how did you
No.
discover that you love music? We never asked you your backstory, your origin story.
Oh yeah, my origin story. So yeah, similar to Miu, I was thrown into piano lessons as a kid, and I really hated it, but it really gave me the foundation for the musical knowledge that I have. And then when I was like 10 or 12, around that age, I was like, I don't want to play other people's music. Like, I find more enjoyment by making my own music, by composing my own melodies. And I started doing that a lot. In high school, I joined all these programs where I'd compose for the choir in my town or chamber ensembles around LA, which is where I'm from. One of the instructors that I met at one of these programs, she's an incredible composer. She's not a film composer, but she's an amazing Indian American composer, Reena Esmail. She honestly just inspired me so much. And she was like, no, you like should do music. Like, this is what you're like good at and you love it. Like, continue doing it. And I think because of her, I decided to do music in college. And then from college, I just scored a bunch of short films, student short films, and I really loved doing it. And I just really like the collaborative aspect of composing music to screen. So I kept doing that, and then came to NYU and met all these lovely people. And yeah, the rest is history.
That's so
Yeah.
wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad our paths have crossed in such a way. It's so inspiring. I think it's so important what you're doing, all coming together and creating these places for women in film to be celebrated and to network and make connections. I invited a friend to come to her voice, and she was like,
Yay.
"Oh yes, I'm
Yay.
looking for my composer for life, like my Ludwig. I like need someone." And I was like, "Oh, I feel like this community is about to grow and create so many beautiful working relationships, and like I'm sure they'll grow into friendships and bonds, but it's so exciting how many partnerships are probably going to come out of this. I just can't wait. It's going to be awesome." So, sort of on that topic, like what do you think what does sort of that camaraderie among women in film sort of look like for y'all, and what are some ways in which you're hoping her voice can pave the way for women in the industry? I feel like there's probably a lot of doors that it'll open up for people.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, kind of related to what Catherine had mentioned earlier. You know, we went to this event where it was highlighting like women creatives, women directors. Mainly it was like women directors or screenwriters, that kind of stuff, which I think, as far as I know, like a lot of the events that are catered towards and supporting women in film, it's usually people who are involved in pre-production or production. It doesn't really encompass a lot of post, which is where we come in, right? And especially when it comes to composing, I think that's why we were super invested in this idea, because, you know, like women composers, we're everywhere. Like there's so many of us, but even if there is a women film event or a director, producer, editor, somebody attached to it, oftentimes it's still a male composer, which is interesting, even if the team is like 90% or like 8% like female led, which is super cool. We love that. We love women in the forefront, and that there's a lot of that happening in other sectors within film. But I hope that with her voice, the biggest thing is showcasing and letting a lot of people hear the music that people create, and not just like at the name level or like just knowing them, but getting to actually hear that in a theater and celebrating their work on the big screen. Hopefully our aim is just to have that space so that as our event grows and more people come and directors and other people in film listen to that and they're like, oh wow, this is super cool that all these incredible women identified composers exist. We hope that that kind of sparks collaborative element amongst women.
I love that. It's so true, too. It's like I feel like there are weirdly gendered roles on film sets and in post, and there's no reason why it always has to be a man that does this and a woman who does this. It's so bizarre to me that that's just sort of how certain things always unfold. And it's like, I love women. I love women who make music. I love the music women make.
True.
Yeah. No, adding on to that, I completely agree. I think there's like a twofold thing. Like composers are not always, the face of a film. I mean, we're like behind the scenes and we come in post, and sometimes music is seen as an afterthought, which it should not be because it's so important and vital. But I think sometimes composers in general are overlooked, men and women, but then also like women especially who are composers. Because like I think a lot of time, like you said, women directors, women writers, producers are highlighted a lot, and there aren't really a lot of women in post-production, specifically in music and sound, that you can like really come to mind and you're like, who's a really famous women film composer? Like we know them, but I don't know if the general public would like know the most, like a ton of women film composers off the top of their head.
Not
everyone
yet.
knows like the big guys,
Yeah.
like Hans Zimmer, but yeah,
Not yet.
exactly. But that's what we're trying to highlight and like show that there's so much talent and so many amazing women who are doing this.
Yeah. I think that's also something I'm really excited about with one of CK's upcoming films, Backyard Desert, which we are fortunate enough to have the incredible Katherine on. But I love that it's a woman. I know, for real. She's so incredible. I love that it's a woman's story being told through like the musical lens of also a woman, because I feel like there are little feelings and nuances that a woman will see and translate to music in a really unique way that I don't know, like no shade, no tea to men, but I do feel like women bring something special to women's stories when they're the ones that are adding the music. And it's just such an emotional art. And you can just say so much in such just magical ways with it. And I can't wait to see what all of you do. This is just so exciting.
I think it's, like about like the women voice and, that being, I get the point about women composers being added to a woman-led story, a woman narrative, because it's like, I think it's all about the authenticity, because at the end of the day, it's like what you hear, it can never really be, there's no gender or label to music, right? It's just like this language we have. But I think what really matters at the core is what we're all touching on is just the authenticity, the genuine element. It's something that can't really be replaced. Having a woman tell that story through their eyes, through their potentially lived experience, I think that's the thing that makes people really resonate and really lean into that.
So true. Oh, beautiful. I want to ask each of you, what are you currently working on? And what have you found inspiring lately for said project or projects that you have on the docket?
Just wrapped up this short film that was an incredible story. It was basically about half Korean, half Japanese young girl who is torn between those cultures and not feeling like they belong to either one. With me, so I'm Japanese, but I've never lived there. I wasn't born there. I grew up mainly in Singapore, and I kind of traveled around the world, similar to what Carlotta was mentioning earlier, just kind of like, bouncing around different countries. And so I think my upbringing, there's pros and cons to it. It's like, I'm grateful for sure that I've gotten to experience a lot of cultures and really get to be super open-minded and have that as my core value. But at the same time, it raises that question of like, oh, like, where are you really from? Where's home for you? And those kinds of themes about like identity, belonging are things I've always wanted to explore with films, but I hadn't had that chance. And it was by a woman director. She wrote it and she brought me in because she's like, hey, I heard from like a mutual friend who introduced me to her, you love like this idea of like identity, belonging, and kind of always exploring those paths. And so she brought me on and we had a great talk and we really connected and resonated on kind of being torn between cultures and not knowing where we truly belong and whether we'll actually find that and how that all works. And so, yeah, that's been a really rewarding process of getting to work on that short film, and it really like meant a lot to me. So,
wow. When you get sitting down to start working on that, like, what's the first thing that happens? Do you hear something and then you like record it, or what's your process?
For this or just in general?
Well, I guess in general.
In general, for me, I would mainly just like have the film out. I would watch it a couple times, specifically like a scene. I'll go see my scene, and seeing what honestly comes to mind at that point. I think after that, though, I will listen to soundtracks or kind of inspirations I can pull from. Mainly, I'll ask the director if they could share what they had in mind, just to get a general sense of where their headspace is at. That doesn't have to be the final product, but just to get a sense of the language that they want me to speak in. And then from that, I will kind of use that as inspiration and just get cracking. I usually just do a piano sketch since piano is my primary instrument. And sometimes that ends up staying. Something like the short film I worked on, which was very much piano-led, a very intimate, minimal score. But for other things, I just have that piano sketch, and then that serves as the foundation to which we then orchestrate it and put it into different instruments and create more color, texture, all that good stuff. So that's my general blueprint, I would say.
This is so interesting to me because I just wouldn't even know where to start. That's awesome. Carlotta, what are you working on, as much as you can share? Because obviously some stuff is top secret, but just general gist of what you're working on.
Yeah, so obviously I'm primarily a composer, but under Concert Music, Gil Talmy, who's this amazing documentary composer. He works a lot on documentaries that have very like deep and sensitive matters. Like they're very just like about this one documentary that I'm working on is about like women who decide to kill their babies when because of like religious reasons and stuff like that. And so he's very sensitive in his music and his style in being really aware of like he knows really well when to put music and why the music is there, the story as much as possible. And he makes a good point that music is not the main, character of the story all the time. We really want to make the matter of the documentary, in this case, like shine and shine light to it. So I get to music edit with him a lot, and I also get to write original music, which is great. He's a great mentor. But yeah, on my own, I like to write for documentaries, dramas, I feel like I've been working with him a lot, so I haven't been focusing as much on my freelance stuff. But I definitely want to get back on it and keep writing because that's what I want to do.
Wow. I didn't even think about the documentary side of it, how if you're dealing with such serious and intense subject matter, you have to find the right music to match it, but also not take away from it.
Yeah, the right
complement it.
balance. It's so hard.
Wow. And then what's your process like when you're writing a score for a film?
Yeah, kind of similar to Miu. I like to watch the movies a couple of times. I like to write down kind of the in and outs of when I want the music to come in and out, and then discuss that with the director. So I think conversations with the director is really important. Kind of being on the same page on where we want the music, how much music we want, what's the style, what instrumentation do we want, what does the director not like at all, or what does the director really love. I also love to like get a Spotify playlist just to get in the mood and in the zone. And then, yeah, I just pull up the piano, start improvising and writing ideas and melodies. And sometimes they stay on the piano. Other times, they become something completely different. I love writing for synths, but I also love like acoustic piano and vocal vibes. It really depends on what the project is about. And yeah, from there, obviously, then you send over your stuff to the director. He'll give you revision notes, or you kind of continue the discussion and conversation about the music and why it works, why it doesn't. Yeah, I love the collaboration process. I think it's very inspiring. I think you learn a lot from it all the time. You keep growing and learning the more you keep working with different directors, and it's very inspiring. I think it's a fun process overall.
That's so great. Oh, thank you for sharing. Katherine,
Yeah.
what are you up to?
I feel like I don't want to copy what Miu's saying, but I'm also doing a short film about identity and being half Asian because I'm like half Chinese, and I'm working on a film right now that is written and directed by a woman, and she's acting in it as well, and she's half white, half Japanese. So it's just like it's just a conversation that she's having with someone on a first date, and he is like questioning what she is and makes her feel bad about being half white because yeah, I guess she's kind of just dealing with like not really feeling like fully a person of color, but then also like acknowledging that she does have like white passing privilege. And it's a really like hard line to, I don't know, be in sometimes. And I like dealt with these questions of like where do I fall in like the race identity politics thing. Like I do have privilege, but also like I am Chinese. And yeah, it's just been really, really awesome to work with someone who's also half Asian. Like I've never worked with anyone in that way, who's a director. And I think it's really cool that she found someone who's half Asian to score her film. So that's almost done, wrapping up soon, and hopefully will be released soon.
Wow. Oh, we're
Yeah.
so excited to see. That's so beautiful that, yeah, like you can carry on telling the story through the music and with your shared experience. That's so
Yeah.
important. Oh my gosh. And then, so
Yeah.
for you, what's your process like when you're sitting down to make a score?
It's honestly pretty similar to what Miu and Carlotta said, doing a piano sketch. Yeah, emphasis on like getting reference pieces from the director. That always helps. And then actually recently I've had like some directors, like I've just sat down with them. It's kind of scary, but like just playing in front of them as like the foes.
Yes, it's so
It's
scary,
like
right?
terrifying.
But I've done that, yeah.
But it can sometimes be
But it works.
easier because like you can just get all the notes in one sitting. Like it's not like a back and forth thing. Like it's in real time, and I do enjoy doing that. But it's kind of scary. But I was just doing that for like my last been working on. Like the director's been coming over to like my home studio, and we've just been kind of like grinding it out and working on it together, which is
So
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. I'm like taking notes in case I one day become a composer. Wow, that's so amazing. No, I could never. Y'all are magicians. It's incredible. I just want to quickly go around, and if anybody has a favorite score that they like, a favorite movie/movie score.
That's such a hard
I
question.
know it's
Oh
so
my
hard.
God.
I can start. I said Jurassic
hard.
Park.
It's a great one.
I
A
think
classic.
It's a
Beautiful.
classic.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Love that French horn
Okay.
solo. Hello.
Stunning.
So
Right?
good.
Stunning.
So good.
So good. If it's favorite, like mine's always gonna be the same person that everybody and their mothers knows. But I guess he's more known. Well, he started off as a songwriter and then he went into film scoring. But one of my huge role models, inspiration is the Disney legend Alan Menken. He like has scored so many things. So my favorite film score, honestly, it's gonna have to be something from Beauty and the Beast. Like it has to be that. And I say that for anything. It's one of my favorite films, including the live action version. I know some people have their opinions about it. Y'all stay in your lane, stay safe. But I think it's the best, one of the best scores out there. The orchestration is magnificent. The arranger, everybody who's involved in team music, and obviously the whole film, it's great. So that's my answer, but it always is that. So
I love that.
This is such a hard question. I'm still like, I have to think.
I know, because you're going to say one thing and then tonight
Okay.
you're going to be falling asleep and you're going to be like, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you got it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So when you asked the question, the first thing that came to mind was the soundtrack to Ratatouille by Michael Giacchino.
Period.
Like
yes.
that
Say it
soundtrack
louder.
is incredible. And that's kind of what brought me into like film scoring in the first place. Like I was always like in love with that soundtrack. But then I also loved, I'm just gonna add another one because I'm not gonna fall asleep tonight if I don't say this one other soundtrack. It's Life is Beautiful, which is an Italian movie. And the score is by Nicola Piovani. Like, I recommend you guys listen to that. It's like the film is really heartbreaking and just like really sad. But the score is like just magnificent. I love it. And I used to listen to it when I was growing up. So I'm very attached to it and I love it.
That's a beautiful
So
movie.
good.
Oh,
You watched
cool.
it?
Yeah, that's Ethan's favorite. Ethan is Mr. CK. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
his
God.
favorite movie.
No way.
Yeah, it's in like his
Oh, we need to have
letterbox
a
top.
discussion about this.
Yeah, you
It's
guys
in my
can talk
letterbox
about
top
it.
4 too. Are you kidding
Oh my
me?
gosh, you have to
Oh,
chat.
anyway.
You have to kiki about it. Okay, Catherine, it's all on
Oh,
you,
it's
girl.
For sure.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball and go with a TV composer.
Ooh.
I think one of my biggest inspirations is this composer that you guys probably know. Not everyone does. Siddhartha Khosla. He did the music for Only Murders in the Building. He just did Paradise. But what I like show that like made me fall in love with his music was This Is Us. His music is just so gorgeous. It's like simple, but it just gets you emotionally, and that is what really made me want to do music. I think I was listening to his scores and I was like, wow, this is what I want to make today.
Wow. That's
So,
so cool.
yeah.
Incredible. They're all such incredible answers. And I can't wait for the decade anniversary of Her Voice when we interview young women composers and they all list you as the people who inspired them.
Aww,
Period.
that'd be
Oh,
amazing.
that's so sweet.
That's so
It'll
sweet.
happen. No, it'll happen for real. I think that's our time. Thank you so much again for joining us. And those of you watching at home, you can join all of us on June 10th at Her Voice. Where's it at, Catherine?
Anthology Film Archives.
Anthology Film Archives. We will see you there. It's going to be a beautiful night filled with lots of incredible films, all scored by women. And then we're going to talk after, and we're going to connect, and we're going to make friends, and we're going to meet one another as collaborators, and it's going to be incredible. So we will see you there. Thank you, everyone, again.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
Thank you for
us.
having
Of
us.
course. Oh, before we
This was so
go,
much fun.
it was so much fun. Before we go, would you all mind just telling everyone where they can follow you?
We have an Instagram page. It's called hervoice.screening that we're just posting all the updates, our lineup for the screening, and also just keep an eye out for that because we'll definitely have future events. So
Amazing. Yay. And you're all tagged on the page, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Our
in our
Instagram
bio.
handles,
You can
find
find
us.
us.
Cool. So if you're
Yeah.
curious about them as individuals as well, you can find them in the bio of the Her Voice Instagram.
yeah, feel free to stalk
Stalk
us, guys.
away.
Please.
Hit them with the follow. And
Have fun.
stay tapped in.
Don't be shy.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you at Her Voice. Let's go. Women in film and music.
Yes.
Woo! Thank you so much for
Thank
watching that
you.
episode of CK Cafe.
We hope you enjoyed that amazing, amazing interview. I think that Miu, Carlotta, and Catherine they're really fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. It was my first time interviewing in a minute, but it was really easy. They were great to talk to. So
And their insight and their process to like making music for film is so incredible and so exciting. And I think they're three composers to really watch, and all of the amazing composers that are. that's great. You're really miming the watching. But I think they're three composers that I'm very excited to see how their careers progress. Obviously, we're working with Katherine Beggs on multiple projects right now. Backyard Desert, The Last Autumn, which is a short. So we'll be working with her a lot. But everybody, all of them, and the amazing composers part of Her Voice and their films. There's really some amazing talent out there in the independent world. And let's get more women in post jobs. Let's do it, right?
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Thank you for always following CK and supporting our journey. Rosie and I and our entire extended team are so beyond grateful. We're so excited to be bringing back CK Cafe.
Woo.
Please subscribe to the CK Substack, where we'll be releasing a newsletter once a month, plus some special updates only on Substack. And make sure you follow us on social media, as always, at CK Productions NY. All of our branches can be found in our bio. Thank you so much. CK Cafe is signing out.
Signing out.